Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon for the latest film interviews, features, and recommendations on the movies that matter.
Sheeba Chaddha, welcome to the show. Welcome to this show that we call Class Act. I want to tell you that the whole idea of this show, it's always been to get to know better some fine actors whose work one has always admired and respected, but whom we know very little about. So, it felt very appropriate to have you on this show and to chat with us because one has watched you over the years and one has enjoyed what you put out. I think that you put out performances that touch a chord, and we'll talk about it in detail, but I'm so happy that you're joining us on the show today. Thank you. Sheeba, I was watching Bandish Bandits, which is your latest work, which is the show that you've just done. And watching that show, it sort of reminded me just how effectively you convey emotions very often without the crutch of dialogues. Your character, Mohini, doesn't have a lot of lines in this show. She's the long-suffering daughter-in-law of this dominating patriarch, I should say, that Naseeruddin Shah plays. She's the only woman in that home, in that household. 3 generations live under that roof, and she's the only woman. It's through a tentative smile or a curl of the lip or through the eyes that one really kind of understands what's going on in her head, or the fact that there is so much more to her. Possibly resentment, possible frustration, defeat. And then later, as the show progresses, you kind of realize that both professionally and personally, she's been restricted, she's been constrained. I want to ask you, what for you was the most interesting thing about this character? Why was she someone that you were excited to play?
I didn't realize that this is a character that doesn't have lines. So funny that is, Rajeev, because actually that day Atul Kulkarni had called up after watching the show, and he's the one who mentioned that, and that's when it struck me that, oh my God, that is true. And while reading the script or even while shooting, it was really not something in my head that this is a character that is doesn't have lines and says less and has to say stuff other ways. It just never was a thing in my head. So that's interesting. What is the reason to? It's quite a fab character to get to play. Whilst I might not agree with a lot of choices that Mohini makes, just might have a lot of issues with those. Still to make my peace with that. But in that setup, in that framework, what this character starts out as when we first engage with her, and what she gets to, and just a revelation was also very lovely for me. The fact that there is this entire inner world which had been brewing throughout, which is a very strong and a very powerful world, which is going to sort of get manifested towards the end, and then she does stuff. All these are reasons, and then just to be a part of that universe, it's just a lovely universe to be a part of. So
I kept thinking, that's the thing. I think that's the thing about good actors. You watch them, and in the first couple of episodes, I'm thinking, why have they wasted this actress? I mean, she only shows up. She kind of, you can see that she's not thrilled, and she must have issues. And I kept thinking, there has to be more than this. There has to be more than this. And then, of course, it's revealed, and you realize exactly why you've seen her in a certain way, and then she kind of unravels. But the other show that you're so good in, which actually dropped a few weeks, I think, before lockdown happened, was Taj Mahal 1989. And that's a wonderful show because what I really enjoyed about it was that it shows you sort of 2 generations and the difference in their approach to love and companionship. You play Mumtaz in that show, this poetry-loving woman who has to relocate from Lucknow, and you learn that she's probably relocated in the past as well because her past catches up with her. She and her partner have to relocate, and it's a beautiful relationship that actually ends quite tragically. I don't know if I'm overreaching here. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but I find that you are able to convey immeasurable pain very beautifully. And I find that a lot of directors use you for that. Through your eyes, I feel like you're able to convey a lot of pain, and you frequently get those kind of parts. Am I overthinking this?
I have not thought about it like that. Yeah. No, just happy to be getting these parts that they come with this entire entourage of pain. Yeah, I think pain is a very romantic quality that many actors are very drawn to. Of course, it's a great what is it, leveraging tool, and yeah, it's something you can always bite your teeth into nicely. So yeah, I've not really thought that. I don't think they seek me out just because okay, she can do pain, but yeah.
So let me tell you why I thought so. I'm going to give you some examples to back up my case. I'm reminded of that scene in Luck by Chance. In that film, of course, you play the wife of this poor, not that poor, but this modest producer. Her sister is Sheeba Chaddha, who's married to the rich producer. So she's the poor sister. And there is that scene where you're at this kiddie party playing cards, and one of the women cracks a pretty crude joke at your expense. And for a moment you're shocked, and then your sister jumps in and kind of diverts it. And everyone starts laughing, and you do too, to take the attention away. But the camera stays on you. And you can see that she's laughing, she's smiling because she wants to shift the attention. But there is pain, there's hurt.
Yeah, but it's like I've always looked upon that character as like she's clown, she's like a little clown. Yeah, and of course that's wonderful about clowns, isn't it? They do that thing, they have that thing, no? They have immeasurable pain and they have immeasurable joy, and it's all transient. It's in the moment. Nothing is held on. No, it's just, it comes, it goes. So I always looked at her like that. She's that person. Yeah, she'll just play the moment, and that moment called for that, and that's what she'll play. And it'll pain her, but she'll feel the pain and then let it go, and she'll feel the joy. And then I found her very lovely, that character. Yeah.
There's another scene that around that character in the same film. It's the scene where she walks into that trailer, the makeup van.
Yeah.
And her husband is talking to the actress, Konkona, who is also his mistress. He's been having a fling on the side. And they're having a sort of tense conversation, and that girl is crying. And you walk in, and you know that something's wrong. It's the woman's instinct, it's the wife's instinct. She knows. They cover up, they make an excuse, but she just knows. And when that girl leaves, you ask, why was she crying? And again, it's the camera that stays on your face. Your head is down because you haven't bought that out. You haven't bought that excuse.
Wow, I don't remember. You've seen it recently, I tell. I don't remember what I did, but it was that moment. Yeah, but for her to ask, she'll ask, she'll ask. But she knows the answer is also all this thing, but she also wants to believe the answer that, it's that.
Is it fair and is it true that, Sheeba, you worked for more than 20 years in the movies? I mean, starting out with Dil Se, and you were in films like Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, Parzenia, Delhi 6. Is it fair to say that Luck by Chance was the one that people first took notice of you or sort of remember you from?
Actually, Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, Rajeev, is what I would say. Actually, that was my first film which I shot for. That's the first film I got as soon as I came to Bombay. Dil Se happened later, but maybe it released earlier. I've forgotten that because people keep saying Dil Se, but it's not. I mean, my first ever film getting experience and shooting was Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam. And I think a lot of the recognition of whatever level was with that film, even more than Luck. Because Luck by Chance didn't do so well at that time.
That's right.
Correct. But Chuke Sanam, because of the star cast, because of Bansali, because of the scale it was mounted at, was a huge blockbuster even then. So, and even till date, whenever I go to shoot, some makeup man or the other random will still come and say, "Ke wo TV pe aa rahi thi." Matlab, after so many 100 years, it's still. So I think that's a pretty been a regular source of we know her from that. Yeah, I would think it's that.
Was it hard to break in? You came from theatre. You came from doing a fair bit of theatre before you left. Before the Bollywood sort of entry happened. Was that a hard door to crack open?
Really, I say no at all. So this struggle, as actors say, I have been very, very blessed, and I can say that. In that struggle thing of where you just come and you're there for months or years and you just don't land anything, that really didn't happen. And that's, I think, the way it was mapped out for me, because I really believe that. So I literally had come with 1 month in saying I would come for a month, and if something works out in this month, I'm going to stay back. If not, I'm going to go back to Delhi. So in this 1 month, I was really fortunate to get this film, because a friend of mine, Kenneth Phillips, who was writing this film with Sanjay at that time, and he said, why don't you come meet him and we'll see. So literally that was that, and one audition which Sanjay did, it was a group audition from what I remember. Vinay and all, everybody was in that. And then next time they called me in the office and my photo was up on that board, and that was it. So honestly, to just, it was, what can I say? It's really just been, grace that really, no, not difficult at all, is what I would say. Yeah.
What drives the choices, Sheeba? What drives the choices? What makes you go, this one I want to do, this one I don't think is for me?
Well, there's not been like a huge kitty and pool of things that, okay, I'm going to leave these 5 and take. Sometimes it happens, but otherwise it's purely what is offered to you at that time and what seems the best out of that, always, Rajeev. And many times you do a film just because of money, because the money is good, really good, and you might not really like it too much, or role might be really not something, but it's good. The whole setup is good, money is good, you'll do it. So it's literally picking out of what is offered at best at that time. And I've never had a roadmap. I've never had a goal, literally. So it's literally been going with it as it comes. I've made the choice literally right there and then, what makes sense to me at that phase in my life. Purely that, instinctively, instinctually, completely from the gut. That's it. Yeah.
I remember the scene in Talaash, the film that you made with Aamir and Kareena. This is a scene in which you're at the brothel. You're playing one of the prostitutes along with Kareena, and I think it's the first scene that you're in. It's that scene where all of you are sitting there. And the pimp walks in and says the client wants the girls, and all of you all get up to go.
Yeah.
And then he says to you, Nirmala, what are you doing? Client ko chokri chahiye, auntie nahi.
Yeah.
And again, it's about the camera, because the camera stays on you, and it's a heartbreaking moment because you realize she's really hurt. And then Nawaz, of course, says something lovely, but that's not what I want to ask you here. Is could that scene be symbolic of the film business, Sheeba, where ageism is such a deep-rooted problem, especially when it comes to women?
Of course, yeah, we know it. It is, at the end of the day, I believe, a very male-centric, in the sense that the male gaze is hugely heavy on a lot of stuff. So of course ageism is a thing. It's and women, I mean, not just films, it's also a thing of a society, isn't it? That's how it is in the world that we live in, right? Men just seem to age better and for longer periods of time, and women just age faster and quickly, and they're done aging, and then they're aged. But men go on aging at a nice gradual little pace, it seems. So likewise, it's just a huge reflection in our movies as well. And of course, it's true. Yeah, it's been true. I mean, at such a young age, women start playing mothers. I mean, I started mother, I don't know. Oh my God. When I first came, I just remembered with Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, I got another serial. At that time, Ramesh Sippy sir was doing a serial called Gatha. He mounted this really big serial. And he cast me as Sadhya Siddiqui's mother. At that time, Parikshit Sanerjee's wife.
Wow.
Younger wife, like a second wife and all, but still. But Sadhya's mother. Even then, I'm playing cousin to Aishwarya Rai on one thing, and the other thing I get cast as her. And then it's like that, yeah. And then it's women are playing mothers. The minute you're like mid-20s crossed, okay, mummy, come on. It's like,
how do you not get frustrated by that? How does an artist not let that sort of make you feel bad and just bad about the business, bad about the job?
So to be absolutely honest, the thing is that what I said, I have never ever had an ambition. I have never had a goal. I have never had a thing that, I have come to Bombay to become this. I I have, so where I come from is that where we took, I think, theatre to be very, mm, let's say, very serious, very almost purist in that sense. So earlier, this television and anything, media or film was considered, that thing that, you do to sort of, the other people do sort of, you do it, but the real stuff is theatre, that kind of complete. Today I would call it snobbery, and a lot of theatre people around me whom I know still suffer from that. And I use the word suffer because they are in denial about it also. So yeah, the thing was never ke अरे मुझे ये करना है, of theatre कर रहे हैं, theatre हो रहा है, and then this stuff is required to actually pay the bills, because theatre is not going to pay my bills. So film or television at that time, because the television was booming as well, was really a source of money.
Right.
Along the way, if you got a film in which you really enjoyed doing the work, that was a bonus, literally. But purely, it was like the work is theatre. This is the work for money. So this dichotomy is where one always started with and was a part of me for a very long time. So there was no ambition whatsoever in that thing. So frustration, whatever came my way, I would choose, ठीक है, ये okay लग रहा है, ये setup okay, ये role is decent, this money is okay, I would do it. So it's really not कि अरे ये तो I'm playing the mother of this one, that one. Yeah. So I think that's it.
You've said that your career was driven by love of acting. I mean, you came from a business family. It took a while to even convince them that that this is what I want to do. You came to Mumbai. You pursued it for now more than 20 years. When it's driven by love, when it comes from a place of purity, how do you reconcile to the fact that the good films and the good roles come sometimes in films that either people don't watch, or there are the small roles in big films where one doesn't get noticed? I mean, how does one sort of reconcile with that?
Because it was truly that the work that I wanted people to see was happening on stage.
Right.
It was really like that. The asal mal, the pure काम is happening there. This is a film है, उसकी अब अपनी किस्मत है, आपको देखा, आंगल दे चुके हैं, बहुत famous हो गया, अरे very good, उससे और लोग जाने लगे, अरे very good. So ये bonus है बाकी. So this thing was never even a thing of a conflict with me whatsoever, or a thing of अरे यार वो नहीं चली film और वो नहीं. And in fact, I think I also came to Bombay and I so quickly met so many actors who seemed so consumed by this entire jamboree of films and filmmaking and what their position in it, and that ye to mujhe nahi karna hai. That somewhere there's some recoil happened, of from that vulgarity, actually. Let me use that very strong word, of being just so obsessively consumed by and it wasn't a film case, it was like hum film ke andar kaise hain, hum, everything was them.
Correct.
And then and their place vis-a-vis the film, and then that whole world, and how they were only looking at themselves through that, and it's just like they were consumed by it completely, and as if kuch aur exist hi nahi karta tha. So that kind of thing was never okay for me. So I said, oh God, I have to be very careful not even to fall into that, because it's so easy, you can,
Yeah. I mean, 9 out of 10 actors are very self-obsessed, and the world revolves around them, and
I can be like that as a person. But I hope I'm not like that because of the fact that I'm a film actor, that's all. So I think. Yeah.
But how much time is there to do theatre, to do what the heart desires in this, when one is doing Mirzapur, and when one is doing, Permanent Roommates, and all of the other, wonderful work that you're doing on digital platforms?
So like I said, that was my beginning. That was me for a very, very long time. But I do think that seamlessly, organically, there'd be change in that. Earlier, I think if I was not doing 1 or 2 plays a year, it would be like, oh God, like khaat.
Yeah.
But no more. And I realized over time that I did get more and more involved in doing this work, and theatre did become less. It did recede. So now I think I'm in a sort of a comfortable place where when I really, really want, I think I just set an intention out, and somehow miraculously, some wonderful work, which I consider wonderful, happens for me, and that's it. And then, like earlier, if I would be doing it with much more frequency, the frequency is reduced, but it's still there. I will be doing one play every 1.5, 2 years. Then there'll be some shows of that. So wo. But certainly, it's been a seamless switch over. I can say I'm certainly not. I would not position myself as a first foremost a theatre person anymore at all. That would be a lie. I won't. So evidently now for me, this world is primarily also my world. Theatre is a love which will never ever go away ever. But it's that pulsating, the dying greed to just like do it and be in it. That's reduced over time. I can see that, and it's very seamlessly happens. So there's no problem.
Every now and then there will be a role, even if it's not a massive role, but one that will really crackle. And I want to refer to Badhaai Ho, in which of course you play Sania's mother. You play that sort of posh, seemingly progressive, modern mother, of course, but seemingly progressive because, she's cool and she's single mother and she sips wine and she asks Sania's boyfriend to drink wine. And then, of course, she says some pretty harsh things about his family when she learns that his mother is pregnant. And of course, it comes from a place of caring for her daughter. You know that. But at one point she says, this family is a circus that I don't want to buy tickets to. It's a great line.
Yeah,
I want to ask you, and I want to link it back to what you said about Bandish Bandits as well. When you're playing a character that you don't, that you don't necessarily, that's not how you think. That's not the kind of person you are.
I totally think like that. What do you mean? Totally that person.
But what is the process of getting into the heads of women that are very different from who you are personally, and certainly think, I think it's more about a mindset and an attitude, maybe a personality.
So, I always get a bit stumped because people want to ask that, and I honestly can say that I don't have a methodology. I don't have a way. Or the way, whatever it is, I have not sort of objectively, what is the word? Explained it to myself even. It's just something I get into. I react very instinctively to the character when I read it. And then I can say that something emerges. And it's not been that they're so way off from,
Right.
It's like I have played though. I've played women who murder children as well and all. Yeah. So it's like you just try to hit at the core or the truth of that character. And that's coming out of the script very strongly. I don't have to go looking for it. It's coming out of the script. And if it's coming out of the script, then it's going to impact me. And I think it's just that some core of that character which I absorb. And then I don't do any homework whatsoever. I don't even know how to do homework. I don't even think, I don't overthink it. I don't think about it. I don't think she'll first do this and then do that. I literally just read it. If I like it, then it stays. And then I go to the set, and it's purely being in that moment when that shot is happening. And that's what I really try to do, which is hard because your mind is like this one big nonsense giri of rubbish which you've collected over years. No? So it'll start to do talking to you. So ideally to not let your mind talk too much and just be present with what is the material given to you right there and then, and just be present with it and respond to it is safely what I could say is what I try to do. Yeah.
Right. In a film like Gully Boy, where you're playing Safina's mother, not a huge part, but there are a few good scenes. Are some jobs just because it's going to be a pleasant working experience? I mean, what was that? I mean,
who can say no to Zoya?
Except that you did, and we're going to come to that in a minute. You did once. I'm going to ask you about that. But first, let's talk about Gully Boy.
No, of course, it's again a great setup. It's one of the reasons you use. It's a great universe again to be a part of. It's Zoya. It's Excel film, which is lovely, and I really like the story of the film. It's just it wasn't a huge part at all, but it had its place. There was one really nice big crime scene which got cut. Zoya, I'll tell you, there was no reason to say no, really. It was Ranveer Singh, who I'm a huge fan of. And actually, I became an even bigger fan of his once I saw this film. I think I've not seen a performance by an actor. I mean, really, this performance of Ranveer Singh's in Gully Boy is, I was just blown to see. I mean, I've not seen, it's like when you look at like an actor, you look at another actor and you say, oh God, how did this guy give this shot? Yeah. How
Right.
did he land that shot? He's done several of those he has in that film.
Yeah.
Just
It's a real transformation. Yeah. Yeah.
come on. Yeah. His honesty, his truth is just beautiful and lovely. So yeah, there's no reason to say no. Yeah. It's just,
Right.
yeah. It's just,
So why did you say no to Dil Dhadakne Do then?
I think it's a very personal reason. Only because I had just come back from a long stint of Dam Laga Ke Haisa, which we were out from Rishikesh and all that. And then the film came and I would have to travel because it was a cruise for 60 days. And I could not immediately leave my child and, you know, for again a very long time, I didn't want to do that. So it was a pure personal call as a mother. Tough one, but yeah, I had to take that.
What role was that in Dil Dhadakne Do?
It was Aisha's role. So not so exciting also. I think that also helped. I think
Right.
in a really super exciting role, it would have been very tough call, and then one would have tried to figure out. So yeah, but it yeah. So it was a mixture of both, but largely that I could not leave for that long.
Do you feel, Sheeba, that through the streaming shows, you know, through the Bandish Bandits and the Taj Mahals, and the fact that that's opened up and, you know, created more opportunities, do you feel like some of the better work is coming out of the shows today?
Yeah.
I mean, a character like Mumtaz is
Exactly.
so you know, it's such an unusual character to find in the movies, and who would create a mature love story in a sense, right?
Exactly. So that part is great. I'm just saying that because OTT has just got such a huge. It's like it's got a seamless ceiling. Yeah, you can just you know blast it, and of course it's there. I mean, to have for me like Taj Mahal 1989 really is like Patal Lok is another show which I love right now. But again, it's more it's still a little bit in the Mirzapur genre, you know.
Correct.
But still, that kind of writing and that kind of setting and that kind of pitch is so lovely to see. But I'm just hoping that just really exciting stuff can be written now, yeah, because there's an audience for everything. I say like that everybody can watch something, you know. Okay. And come on, why are not more people writing just really more exciting stuff? It's just now we have, I think, the platform, yeah, and I really feel, I mean. Yeah, to get to play a character like Mumtaz in a film is like unthinkable for someone, you know, an actor like me right now at this stage. But to get a character like that, I mean, she's my all-time favorite, you know, she's just such a woman. It's just such a wonderful character. So more, not just family, you know, there are...
Correct.
You know, people our age can do more stuff than just family. So just
and comedy, I have to say, you know, it's such a joy watching you. I mean, I know you don't get too many opportunities to do comedy, but you know, the sketches that you've done with Pocket Aces and the sketches you've done with TVF or even Permanent Roommates. I mean, do you enjoy sort of doing comedy?
Of course, yeah. I think all actors do freely. It's like the joy. It's just fully lovely. And if it's written well and they're not making you just do stupid random stuff, which now people do less and less, it's great. Yeah. It's just full joy. Yeah, fully.
You know, finally, I want to ask you, you know, you're so sort of detached from the outcome. I mean, it seems like, you know, you pick parts from, you know, you're saying it very openly and you're saying it, you pick from what comes your way and you don't have a plan, you don't have a great ambition. Are you invested in the process? I mean, what gives you, where does the love, where does the joy come from?
No, there's great joy now, yeah, actually, because I think earlier I was, I very easily, again I said, seamlessly shed that. I think it was snobbery only on some level, yeah, that you know, I completely enjoy the work when the work is like this. Whether, like I've just shot for a film called Paglet with Sikya, you know, and how much I enjoyed that work, oh my God. And after such a long time, I felt like, a process in the sense of, because the situation is such that I felt like even between the shots, I didn't want to faff or, you know, I don't remember feeling too much like that in a long time. Earlier, maybe when I used to do some bhavars and all, I remember there used to be some episodics, beautiful ones, yeah. Right. So I've done some very lovely work over there. That work was lovely. So there one would, so I just, you know, it was just to be immersed in it completely because this one required because of the way it was. Or just Mumtaz or even Mohini, it was, Of course, if it's a well-written part, and if the people you're working with are really culling it and doing stuff with it, it's wonderful to be performing in that, and yeah, there's joy in it. It's complete. I really enjoy it. उसमें तो कोई दो राय नहीं है. A process अब मेरा सब विली मिली है, पता नहीं क्या है, लेकिन जो भी है काम में मजा है यार, और full integrity, and like I would never shortchange anything. Once someone said yes to it, then it would be you go with it with full integrity. Yeah? So that, yeah, you're there, you're present, and if it's on some days it'll bring you more joy when you feel something got landed nicely. On other days you feel like, oh God, you shot, man. But it's okay. Tomorrow will be better. Yeah, like that.
Well, I have to say, you bring a lot of joy through the work. I think that watching an actor like you and watching the work that you put out, it sort of proves that theory that it's not really about the length of the role. It's what the artist does with it. And I think that through films like Luck by Chance, even that scene in Talaash, I think it's the little ones. Really, something like Bandish Bandits. It's just watching an actor kind of get into the part, and when the camera is allowed to stay is when the real moments are created. So thank you for some lovely work. Can't wait to see what you decide to do next. Looking forward to lots more.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheeba.